Hi there, this is Tatiana. Welcome to your Testing Time Post Show. It is Monday, September 1st, 2025, and tonight I'll be talking about Monday Night Raw. Alright, so let's kick things off, talking about the CM Punk segment along with Becky Lynch. So prior to this segment, CM Punk was talking to Rhea Ripley on backstage, and she apologized for what happened at Clash. And it appears to CM Punk that he doesn't know how Rollins got in the building, but that he's there. Like, let me just say, like, how does Adam Pearce not know how Seth Rollins got in the building? He's a freaking GM of Raw. How does he not know? Seriously. Like, if that was Nick Aldis probably would have stopped Rollins from coming in the building or would have known that Rollins was in the building. But anywho, like, CM Punk goes out into the ring. And I actually really, really like the segment between CM Punk and Becky Lynch. I thought it was a really, really good segment. I like the fact that Becky responded to the AJ Lee chants. The crowd was chanting for AJ Lee. And Becky said they're always chanting for dope, it doesn't work here. And then when they chanted later on, she mentions that she doesn't work here anymore. Like, this was a really, really great segment. I feel like this is the best promo Becky has done so far. Seth Rollins, I like when Becky comes out, like, she's like copying Seth Rollins, and it's actually a really, really, really good segment. So, Rollins ends up coming out, but he doesn't go into the ring with CM Punk. Like, he stays in the ramp, and Becky slaps CM Punk and basically, like, stops him from, like, exiting the ring. And, basically, like, Becky's, like, egging CM Punk on, like, she knows that Punk can attack her. So he tells her he's going to make Rollins regret cashing in on him, and Becky will regret putting her hands on him. And it's so funny because she's like, she already regretted putting her hands on him, and, like, she starts saying, like, nah, 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 goodbye. But, the crowd doesn't, like, sing along with her. But, like, you could see how angry CM Punk was during this segment. Like, he wanted to do something, but he knows he couldn't. And, like, backstage, when he runs into Adam Pearce, Adam Pearce tells CM Punk that SmackDown will be in Chicago. And, Punk says that's tremendous. So a lot of people are speculating or assume that this is going to lead to AJ Lee coming back. Personally, I would like to see AJ Lee coming back. I think that if WWE wants to take the attention away from AEW All Out, because remember, Palooza and AEW All Out are on the same day, what better way to get their attention away from AEW than bringing back AJ Lee, her first match in over 10 years? That's probably going to sell tickets, and that's probably going to have all the attention that weekend. It's got to be AJ. Exactly. Although I will say the fact that CM Punk was talking to Rhea kind of seems like it's a red herring, or backup option just in case they can't get AJ. But I feel like they wouldn't have done this angle if they weren't sure that AJ was gonna be on board for this. I mean, this would be massive. Like, AJ Lee coming back and her first match in 10 years at WrestlePalooza. Like, it is probably going to be a tag match. AJ and CM Punk versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Personally, I would rather see AJ versus Becky Lynch and Punk versus Rollins. But, I wonder if the titles are going to be aligned. Is it going to be a winners take all? Like it was a couple years ago with Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans versus Rollins and Becky. There's so much anticipation now with the possible return of AJ Lee. Like everybody is like thinking or assuming AJ Lee's coming back. And it has to be AJ Lee because, again, like, there's no way WWE is going to take attention from All Out if it's anybody else. Like, it has to be AJ Lee. It just has to be, in my opinion. tag match would help potential ring rust. Oh, that is true. That is true. Like she's been, we don't know if she. Well, I know that she had trained when she did the heels. When she did the heels show for a bit. So who knows? But I'm excited. At the same time, though, I don't want AJ to come back just because I want to see X have a meltdown. Just imagine like everybody like having a meltdown on X because it's not AJ Lee. But again, I feel like it's probably going to be AJ. And it's smart to debut her ahead of time because, like I said, you want to sell tickets to WrestlePalooza, and what better way to do it than by announcing AJ Lee? It's going to be there. I think WWE's put a time limit on themselves, so Friday or Monday if she's coming or not. Yeah, it definitely seems that way. But it has to be AJ. There's just, this is perfect for her to come back. And if she does come back, I definitely would like to know what made her want to come back. If it's Rhea, LO, I don't know if it's a letdown to fans. Rhea makes sense, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like people. Here's the thing. I feel like people would be disappointed because everybody assumes it's AJ Lee. WWE isn't telling us it's AJ Lee. Everybody's just thinking, oh, AJ Lee. So really, the only people that would be everybody would be disappointed because they got themselves hyped up for something that, wasn't even confirmed again. So, I mean, blame Big E. Yeah, but we'll see. But I think more than likely it's AJ Lee. I mean, it has to be. And SmackDown is in Chicago. I think that would be a perfect place for her to make her grand return to the company. Alrighty. So, Rock kicked off actually with CM Punk, and he was waiting for Rollins to arrive. And basically, like, obviously, he was going to wait for Rollins to arrive because, like, after what happened at Clash in Paris, like, Becky giving him the low blow, his story wasn't finished. She lives in Chicago. Perfect, right? Right? So Adam Pearce is trying to get like CM Punk to come inside, but obviously he doesn't want to. So again, that culminates with the segment that we thought about. So Jey Uso's the opening segment here, and honestly, like the whole interaction with him and LA Knight, yeah, I really like that interaction. But then, oh my god, this is such a typical opening segment. This sets up the main event. They're interrupted by the Vision. And basically, the Vision challenges Jey Uso and LA Knight, to a match, and they accept. So, like I said, the first half of this segment with LA Knight, and Jey Uso was great, but then when the Vision came in, it's just like, it's like rinse and repeat. Seriously. So next we got a segment with Iyo Sky and the Kabuki Warriors, and there's been hints of the Kabuki Warriors, especially more from Asuka than Kari, anything, that it seems like they're going to betray Iyo Sky here because, Iyo Sky approached them and apologized for last week, and Asuka makes it known that they're a family and that they're going to take care of Judgment Day for her. And it's funny that Iyo Sky asks them if they need help, and Asuka tells Iyo that they don't need help. And now Iyo lets it be known that she's done with Rhea. So again, like, there's hints of that heel turn. And I think, people have been clamoring for Iyo Sky versus Asuka. This is another way to get Iyo Sky versus Asuka. The Kabuki Warriors turning a heel. So we get Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus the Kabuki Warriors, which I actually thought was a pretty good match. The Kabuki Warriors win by submission because Asuka makes Roxanne Perez step out with the Asuka lock. So this is a really good match. I liked it. We did an Adam Pearce announcement, and we basically learned that it's going to be Stephanie Raquel versus Iyo Sky at WrestlePalooza for the vacant women's world title. As you guys know, Naomi was scheduled to face Stephanie Raquel at Clash at Paris, but because of her pregnancy, she relinquished the title. So it's going to be Iyo Sky versus Stephanie Raquel. Next, we get Finn Balor versus Dragon Lee, which I thought this was also a good match as well. I kind of forgot that Dragon Lee defeated JD Madonna last week. And, and that's not my fault because Dragon Lee loses a lot. What I like is they're giving Japanese talent more talent, more developed storylines with Iyo, Asuka, and Kari. That is true. You know, how was I supposed to remember that he defeated JD Madonna last week when Dragon Lee loses a lot? Like, before he defeated JD Madonna last week, I can't remember the last time he won. Like, seriously, he's supposed to be the future of Lucha Libre, but how is he the future of Lucha Libre when he keeps losing? And he lost here to Finn Balor thanks to JD distracting the referee. So we get another segment with Iyo Sky. This time around, she's talking to Nikki Bella. And, you know, they're interrupted by the Kabuki Warriors. And Asuka basically says that they're all going to be champions again. You know, obviously her and Kari are going to be tag team champions and Iyo Sky being, you know, world champion. And Iyo Sky tells Asuka that she doesn't need help, that she could be Stephanie Raquel. Right now, if you guys remember, at SummerSlam, Iyo Sky lost, and Asuka reminded her of that. So again, like, there's this hint that they're going to cost Iyo this title. You know, they're gonna try to help, and it's just gonna cost Iyo. So next we get a Judgment Day segment, and you know, Finn Balor and JD are kind of questioning why Dom wasn't there. Dom says that he was there in spirit, and you know, for his IC title match, Judgment Day is banned from ringside, and Balor tells Dom they'll be there in spirit. Like, I feel like they're kind of taking a while to pull the trigger on this version of Judgment Day to split, but I guess it's due to Liv Morgan's injury, as I feel like they probably would have split by now. We had a 6-man tag match. It's a New Day and Grayson Waller versus Penta and the War Raiders. I thought this was also a pretty decent match, but I feel like Penta is just kind of like, you know, he went from having a good storyline with Chad Gable, and now he's just kind of there. I mean, it seems like he's having a feud with the New Day. And I find it hilarious that you have Penta feuding with a tag team, and yet you have Rey Fenix on SmackDown and a tag team with Andrade. Why not bring the Lucha Brothers together and make them a tag team? I think that's what everyone's waiting for here. And where the hell have the War Raiders been? Seriously. Like, were they out with an injury or something? Because I do not remember the last time they had a match. You see New Day and Grayson break a fan's phone. I actually did not catch that. They actually broke a fan's phone. And, like, and, you know, I don't know how I feel about this pairing with Grayson Waller and the New Day. Because, like, I feel like we never got a payoff with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. But if Austin Theory is injured when he comes back, like, I'm sure we'll probably get the payoff then. We get a Rhea Ripley interview, and she's interrupted by Asuka because, you know, Rhea makes it known that even though she respects Iyo Sky and Stephanie Raquel, she still wants to be champion. So Asuka takes offense to this, and, you know, Rhea's just trying to figure out why Asuka doesn't like her. Asuka tells Rhea that she's not friends with Iyo Sky and wants her to stay away, and Rhea and tells Rhea that no one's ready for Asuka, not even her. So again, I wonder if, like, the Kabuki Warriors might beat down Rhea here, but there's definitely, like, some tension between the Kabuki Warriors and Iyo Sky. All right, next we get an Adam Pearce segment, and basically during this segment, Roxanne Perez is demanding to be added to the Iyo Sky Stephanie Raquel match because, you know, she pinned Iyo last time. And basically this whole segment sets up, it seems like it's setting up a match between Lyra Valkyria and maybe Roxanne Perez next week, because Lyra interrupts and she basically says she wants to face someone from the Judgment Day. Next we get the IC title match, Dominik Mysterio versus AJ Styles. This was another really great match. You know, the whole entire crowd was serenading AJ Styles. I really wish AJ Styles would have won here. It's unfortunate he didn't. He did lose with the help of El Grande Americano, who cost him this match. And so Dominik Mysterio ended up winning. It's no surprise that Dominik Mysterio ended up winning this because he is scheduled to face El Hijo de Vikingo at World's Collide for the Tipe Mega Campeonato. So I'm assuming that Dom is going to take the Tipe Mega Campeonato from El Hijo de Vikingo, then he'll be a double champion, being the IC champion and the Tipe Mega Campeon. That's what I think. I think that's probably why he retained here. But the crowd was really behind AJ Styles. So personally, I wouldn't have mind if AJ Styles won the IC title during this. France loves AJ more. That's true. Next, we get an LA Knight interview. And they're basically doing the whole can they coexist with him and Jey Uso here. But Jey Uso basically tells LA Knight, just stay out of his way and they won't have a problem. So after this is when the CM Punk promo segment happens, but I already talked about that. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Vision versus LA Knight, and Jey Uso, which is the main event. And basically, let me see. I think Dom is winning the Tipe title. Rankingo getting booed in Mexico. He did get booed. I did see Tipe Mania and he got booed. So I think more than likely Dom is winning. That's why he didn't lose the IC title, and he's not going to lose the IC title. So honestly, was not a huge fan of this main event. The Vision keeps main event. It's the same thing every week. The Vision won. The Usos reunited at the end. So maybe we might get the Usos versus the Vision here, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. I'm still waiting for the Usos versus the Guerrillas of Destiny here. I've been waiting for that match since the Guerrillas of Destiny came to WWE. We still haven't gotten it yet. We're going to get this match before we get that one. But was not a huge fan of this main event, really. Honestly, just this should have been the second to last. But this, I really was not a huge fan of this main event. But on a scale from a 1 to Sean Spears' perfect 10, I think give this a 7.5. I actually thought this was a pretty decent Raw. All the matches were actually pretty good matches. I just didn't like the main event, and I didn't like the opening segment here. The crowd, the France crowd, actually really made this show. They were a really great crowd. They were also great at clashing Perez. The international fans are some of the best. Really puts us US fans to shame. Makes sense to have Big Jim needs to work while Mrs. Perceived with Caution is away. Yeah, that's true. So aside from that, those are a decent it's a pretty decent Monday Night Raw. Now, I cannot wait for Friday Night SmackDown because, again, is AJ Lee going to come back? I guess we have to wait and see. International fans are the best. They are the best. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a video. And I'll see you guys Friday after Friday Night SmackDown. Bye.